to live your life without ever seeing a single thing. Try to imagine going through your life not ever seeing the TV screen or even your cell phone. How would you feel if you had to trust someone to lead you wherever you go, tell you where everything was and how everything looked, not even knowing how the sky looked or what the ground looks like, not knowing any of the colors or what they look like, basically. I don't know about you, but I simply can't imagine it, which is why I chose to do my TED Talk on a group called Second Sight. Second Sight's mission is basically to develop, manufacture, and market implantable visual prosthetics to enable blind individuals to achieve greater independence. They achieve this to an extent. They can help people suffering from diseases such as retinitis pigmentosa, which is a disease that causes damage to the surface of the outer retina. So instead of seeing the world like this, they would see it more like that. And in some cases, it could be even worse, and as they grow on, the case worsens and they hardly see a dot of the real world. And other cases, they can see the world like this. And again, it can be worse to a point where they see like a ring of the real world. So Second Sight developed basically a bionic eye to help these people see the world again. They achieved an award for their development of the Argus 2. The Argus 2 is basically a pair of sunglasses that a person with retinitis pigmentosa can wear to enable them to interpret light and dark patterns to eventually see the world again. As you can see, this person has a pair of those sunglasses on and sees that which is an outline or a light pattern of what the door looks like. So how the sunglasses basically work is it captures video images over here in the camera, which is inside the sunglasses, and it converts them into small electrical impulses, which are then transmitted to an implant, which is basically an array of electrodes on the surface of the retina. So it captures it here, which is right here, and it travels down through that wire up to the implant. And this wire is basically just to the control box, so the person has some more control over the device itself. So it's not as simple as just putting on the sunglasses. They would have to go through some training to interpret what the visual, like what the light and dark patterns mean. So after some time, they can learn how to interact with objects. Like this person can now interact with, I think it's socks. Okay, so it's not just putting on sunglasses. They would have to go through a couple of surgeries. Like this is the implant that would go in the back on the surface of the retina so that the person can see the visual patterns. And then the second surgery would have to be to get a receiving coil placed onto the eye itself so that it connects the retinal implant to the outside world. And then the last surgery would be to get this wire up at the top right there, placed right under the skin near the eye. And that wire would basically connect the sunglasses to the receiving coil, which would connect obviously to the implant on the retina. After all that, they would still need to go through some training to be able to interpret what the light and dark patterns mean. And after some time, they would be able to interact with objects and eventually even be able to read large text. So the Argus 2 has been tested on 32 patients worldwide, and all the tests have been successful. It currently costs about $100,000, not including the surgeries, and is only currently available in Europe. And the Second Sight is working with the FDA to have it approved in the US. It was supposed to be approved by the beginning of this year, but it is a long process that will hopefully end in the Argus 2 being in the US by the end of 2012. Right now, the patients currently see really basic outlines of what the object really is. So Second Sight is working with a group of other scientists to develop a third Argus, which will enable the person to see in more detail and hopefully even be able to recognize other faces of other